वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
Namaste. Welcome to the 12th event in the first ever Singapore Festival of Hinduism that is being held from the 20th to the 29th November 2020. This festival is organized by the Hindu Center, Singapore. Packed with 23 events over 10 days, the online festival aims to inform, educate, and entertain, and is for all to learn more about Hinduism. The events cover everything from the main tenets of Hinduism to important scriptures, explanations on Hindu iconography, prayers, yoga, health, temples and temple etiquette, music and dance, and much more. My name is Manohar Kandappan, and I will be introducing tonight's speakers. I would like to welcome Mr. G. Srinivasan and Mr. Anirudh Ganesh, who will be sharing insights into the significance of Hindu rituals. A little bit about Mr. Srinivasan. Mr. Srinivasan is a chartered accountant by profession. He has served in multinational trading companies, holding senior positions. He is very interested in music, cultural and spiritual activities. He is also involved in poetry, story and drama writing. He has been very active in the Singapore Dakshina Bharatha Brahmana Sabha for over 4 decades, serving in various offices and stepping down as its president just last year. He is the current chairman of Gita Jayanti, Singapore. And with him is Anirudh Ganesh. Anirudh is currently pursuing medicine in the United Kingdom after completing his international baccalaureate in Singapore. He's a keen cricketer, having represented the ACS independent team. He's an avid reader of books in various subjects, as well as an enthusiast in photography. Now, without further ado, let us learn more about the significance of rituals in Hinduism from our speakers. Over to you, Mr. Srinivasan and Anirudh.
Namaste. A warm welcome on behalf of Singapore Dakshina Bharatha Brahmana Sabha to this evening's lecture. I am Srinivasan, and I have Anirudh with me, who will be having a dialogue with me, not only asking questions, but also giving his inputs along the way. Today's topic has got 2 interesting terms, Hindu and rituals. Anirudh, who you think is a Hindu?
One who was born to a Hindu family, right?
To a fair extent, it can be correct, but not necessarily fully correct. Why? Because Hinduism doesn't keep a person labeled as Hindu all along his life. Free and fair exploration is the fundamental of Hinduism. A Hindu can be considered as having this kind of 5 beliefs, I would say, further. So, the one will be the belief in one God, the Paramatma, who may have several forms and names. It is like a person being referred to as father and son, grandfather, grandson, uncle, husband, brother, so forth, etc. So a single person is being called in different names doesn't mean that he is different persons. But based on the relationship, he is called like that. So say based on the relationship with the God, the devotees also give several names to the God, but he still remains as the one. Then the second belief is in the Vedas, being the authoritative scripture of Hinduism. Third will be the belief in karma, and consequently punya and papa for the jivatma. Any karma has a result. The Hindus believe that any karma produces a result, and it can be, if it is a good deed, it will be a punya, and it will be a evil deed, then it becomes papa. And this karma determines the rebirth that occurs due to the past karma. Then the belief in the goal that Jivatma must get rid of this cycle of birth and rebirth, and with the full assimilation of the ultimate knowledge brought out by the Vedas in their final action.
So, is this a complete and comprehensive definition?
No, this is only gives you a good insight into the beliefs of the who is a Hindu. Our tradition, most appropriately called as Sanatana Dharma, it's not a codified religion and cannot be condensed into such a few paragraphs. Now, let's look at the next term, rituals. Rituals are can be loosely defined as the set of established practices or prescribed practices. It is followed by all over the world, and it is done for the benefit, for a particular purpose. And in Hinduism, it can be community-based or individual-based. Tonight, we'll be looking more at the individual-based rituals. And the rituals are mentioned in Vedas. Like we saw, Vedas are our fundamental scriptures. So the rituals are mentioned in Vedas, but much more described in detail in the Smritis, and then illustrated in the Itihasas and Puranas and Upa Puranas by way of stories and anecdotes. And the popular Smriti is Manusmriti, which you might have heard of. But there are more than several Smritis based on each yuga, the contact and everything. Do you know about that?
What are they?
There are totally 18 Smritis. Yajnavalkya Smriti, a verse in the chapter 1, lists out this. Like you see the things, Manvatri Vishnu, Harita, Yajnavalkyo, Shanongiraha, Yamastamba Sarmavartaha, Katyayanaho Brihaspati, Parashara Vyasa, Shanga Likita, Daksha Gautama, Shada Dapo Vasishtasta, Dharma Shastracha Yojakaha. The names are given there in the slide, which you can see: Manu, Atri, Vishnu, Harita, Yajnavalkya, Utsayana, Angirasa, Yama, Avastamba, Samavarta, Katyayana, Brihaspati, Parashara, Vyasa, Shanka, Likita, Daksha, Gautama, Satatapa, Vasishta. There are smritis made by, written by them, which are followed in each yuga. And in fact, in Kali Yuga, it is believed that Parashara Smriti is more applicable. Now, tonight we'll be looking at the important rituals for the individuals, because rituals are quite varied with the various purposes, performed for various purposes, and a lot of procedures and variations are there. And for a person who doesn't understand it, it can seem complicated also. But anyhow, given the time limitation, as I said, we'll be looking more at the individual rites tonight. The rituals applicable to the individuals tonight.
Okay, so first, what would be the purpose of performing all the rituals?
Oh, we want to know the purpose of it. Purpose is that, okay, again we go back to Vedas. Vedas has got two parts. One will be the Purva Mimamsa or the Karma Kanda, where the rituals were fully described and how they are to be conducted and all the rules and regulations are given. Okay. Then comes the Uttara Mimamsa or Jnana Kanda, where the knowledge path is laid out, ultimately culminating into Upanishads, where the sum and substance of the Vedas are given of the self-realization. So, as a Jivatma, everybody, every soul wishes to get liberated from this birth and rebirth cycle. So, by following the rituals and then going through the Jnana Yoga, then they attain the liberation or freedom from this cycle by way of realization that I am one with the Paramatma, I am one and the same as the Paramatma in the Advaita tradition, or attaining moksha Vaikuntha, Shivaloka, Kailasha, etc., through the other traditions like Dvaita, Advaita, and Shaivism, etc. So the whole purpose, as you are, if you ask me, is that to attune the mind, cultivate the mind, and then make also the body also to be attuned for that. So the rituals help in not only cultivating the mind and also making the body to get attuned for that.
Okay.
You have been asking questions. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I like this shirt. Where did you get this from?
I got it in the shop.
You have you thought about it further?
What do you mean?
Let me elaborate. You know, there is a farmer who plows the field, tills the soil, then plants a cotton seed.
Okay.
Then he waters it, tends it, removes the weeds, and then harvests the cotton.
Okay.
Then this cotton is given to a weaver who makes a thread out of them. Then he dyes it with various colors and thinks of a pattern and makes a beautiful design cloth. Now enters the tailor in the picture. He cuts the cloth into various pieces and then stitches them together and then makes it a beautiful shirt. When it passed on to a merchant who displays in a shop.
Okay.
You happen to go to a mall and your eyes fall for that shirt and it sends a signal to the mind. Hey, this is very good. The mind says, okay, let me buy it. And then you end up buying it. And now this beautiful shirt adorns you today. And if, look at that, if an inert cotton seed has to go through so much of processing, from being a small seed to a beautiful shirt, imagine what an active, energetic mind has to do. The problem with the mind is also it tries to distract you from the goal, your own goal, with various attractions showing various actions. So the mind has to be focused and stay tuned to the purpose. And this is the main one of the aspects of the rituals.
Okay.
And this knowledge assimilated will able to refine the mind. I can say that it is like a food which get digested and get assimilated in the body. The rituals help to gain the knowledge and then makes it assimilated in the mind, taking it further in the spiritual path. Even Swami Shidbhavananda, I can say he quotes this in a very beautiful way, is that in Tamil I will say, உணவு உடல் மயமாவது போல உணர்வுகள் எண்ணங்கள் உணர்வுமயமாகட்டும். What he says is that like the food is get digested and becomes part of your body, let the noble thoughts be digested in your mind and become part of you. That's what he says. And you also notice one more thing is that all these people have got one important aspect when they did all that. It is that they have Shraddha. All these craftsmen and the professionals, they believe that the knowledge passed on to them by their elders, forefathers, are quite valid, and they believed in that, and they went through that procedure whereby the cotton seed became a beautiful shirt. Likewise, we should also have Shraddha, and the Shraddha, with that, these rituals will help us to progress in the spiritual path. That's the main purpose of that. And the Shraddha, you can say, it is like a conviction, a belief with a conviction. It is not a mere belief with no basis, but belief with a conviction. And it comes out of their discrimination mind, not a dismissive attitude. So you cannot say, oh, I don't believe in that. But if you had to understand it and see the purpose and then observe it. So this is the purpose. Shraddha is also very required for this when we do the performing the rituals. And while the Shraddha of this farmer, tailor, and the weaver, they produce immediate results right in front of your eyes. When we do perform the rituals, they do not have such a magical results immediately. But these come as a papa or punya to us and taking us further in the what do you call the spiritual path. And that's why they are called, while the former is called as a Drishtapalan seen, this is called Adrishtapalan unseen, because it comes over the beyond our births.
Okay. So, but does that mean that rituals will not be able to help us get benefit in this birth itself?
This birth may be or may not be, because we Hindus believe as I said earlier on, in the birth and rebirths. So we go through the cycle of several births. It is not merely one birth. So Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, especially in chapter 2, he says that the Atma keeps changing bodies as if a person is keep changing his robes. You can also see the snake keeps shedding its skin throughout his life. So this is what happens with the piece, what you call the birth cycles. And when the stula sharira or the gross body perishes, the physical attributes are gone, but the benefits of the rituals called vasanas are carried by the sukshma sarira or the subtle body to the next birth. So birth after birth, when the rituals are performed and body, I mean the mind and the what you call the jivatma gets slowly progressing towards the goal, then ultimately the self-realization comes, then this stops. So to that extent, this is keeps on happening and this has to go on. So it based on the prarabdha karma of the person, it can happen in this birth or it can happen in one of the subsequent births. Again, this is a very vast subject, so we'll not go into that. But what we'll say is that the rituals, the benefits of the rituals, say vasanas are carried forward from birth to birth. Now, let me also tell you, which may be relevant when as we talk further about that. You know, there are 4 stages in life.
I know. So, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
that's very good. You are able to say that. Then,
so I'm seeing 3 sets of people among these 4 in the world. What is a Vanaprastha? I don't seem to see that.
Okay, Vanaprastha is actually when the Grihastha adjourns to the forest. Unfortunately, today there is a forest are also becoming receding, and we are not able to adjourn to the forest to contemplate upon that. So the Vanaprastha stage, I would say, is that to give good, exclusive, qualitative time for the spiritual studies while, diminishing the domestic roles, but staying in the house itself. So in today's modern context, I would say Vanaprastha is still done at the home, but withdrawing from the domestic affairs, more contemplating upon the spiritual text and the spiritual path. So that can be called as a Vanaprastha. And of course, Sannyasa, if somebody qualifies and feels up to it, then he takes up the, gives up the Grihastha stage and Vanaprastha stage and then goes into exclusive Sannyasa for contemplation. Okay. I can also think of that, I can also call this as LPWC.
Okay, so what is this LPWC?
Oh, LPWC is nothing but learn, practice, withdraw, and contemplate. So this describes the 4 stages of the life in this acronym LPWC.
Okay. So, but you mentioned karma in the first part of the Veda. So, what is karma?
Karma is simply an action.
Okay.
The action also in some context, especially in Bhagavad Gita and all, it also can mean the results of the action, karma phala also. What we do believe is that when a karma is done with the utterance of the mantras and set procedures, it brings some benefits as well as to the commencement of the job that we are embarking upon, and also gives a satisfactory result. So this is what the purpose of the karma. But karma is again very broad subject. But today we'll try to do it condensed into some kind of file list. So that will be the karma. We'll have that. So there are. We can see we can classify them broadly under this 5 categories. They are nitya karma. Nitya karma doesn't mean it's a daily karma. It's so which is done like Sandhya Vandana or divine worship or pujas, etc. It is also a karma that is done very regularly on a periodical basis, like Amavasya Tarpana or Shraddha, Devasam, etc. So these are also form part of the nitya karma. And then comes Naimitya karma. Naimitya karma are obligations or rituals that are to be performed at certain stages which are obligatory. And the 16 samskaras, or some schools say 40 samskaras, also form part of this. Then comes Kamya karma. Kamya karma is to do a karma desiring a result. A good example we can quote is that will be King Dasharatha performing Putrakameshti Yaga for begetting a male lineage. So that is this one. Then Prayaschitta Karma is for expiation of sin or Shanti Karmas. Things like annual Ayushomam, Shashtivita Purti, Sadavishekam, they all come under this category, Prayaschitta Karma. Then, of course, Nishiddha Karma means forbidden karmas. Forbidden karmas are, we all know, that are not to be performed, like smoking, gambling, drinking, etc. And these are the samskaras that we have to do that. And
So I've also come across the term Nishkama Karma. What is that?
oh, that's a very good question. Nishkama karma is not actually a karma, it is but an attitude while performing a karma. Whenever you read spiritual text, this term you come across very often, especially in Bhagavad Gita also. Krishna says that this is to be an action to be done with all sincere efforts, but not focusing upon the result. The results, whatever it is, you accept it as a prasad and go along with it. So the focus should be more on performance of the karma rather than on the result. So this is also, when done like that, it also elevates you in the spiritual path, because when a karma is done with a what you call nishkarma attitude, not expecting the result, there is no punya or papa that accrue out of that. So there is no effect on the jivatma by performing the karma, which is a step up in the spiritual path. Okay.
So I now understand about these karmas, but you mentioned samskaras in Naimintika karma. So what are they?
Actually, these are karmas to be, samskaras to be performed by the individuals. And there are 16 samskaras. There are some variation is also, but this, what we are listed today in the slide is the mostly accepted ones. There is another school that says that there are 40 samskaras. So let's look at the 16 samskaras, which are very, acceptable to everybody. One is Garbhadana, Pumsuvana, Simantonayana, Jata Karma, Namakarana, Nishkramana, Karnaveda, Annaprasana, Chaula, Vidyaramba, Upanayana, Vedaramba, Keshanta, Samavartana, Vivaha, Antyeshti. Then we also have another school, like I said, 40 samskaras. Then you can see that it is there. If you look at that, you can go to the next slide also. If you look at that, the most of the karmas are almost similar till the Vivaha. Then for the Grihastha, there are extra karmas, rituals are prescribed, namely Panchamahayajna, then which are Deva, Pitru, Manushya, Bhuta, Brahma Yajnas. Then there are 7 Vaka Yajnas, 7 Haviri Yajnas, and 7 Soma Sastas. So together they make 40. You have noticed one interesting thing, that while the 16 samskaras list Antyeshti as the final samskara for the individual, this list of 40 doesn't do that. Probably it is because this set believes that the karma being done by some other person when one passes away, so it doesn't find a list in there. But whatever it may be, that will even out of the 16 or 40, not many are being able to be performed today. So there are only very select few important ones are being done today in this context.
So could you give me some more information about this?
Okay. So now, if you look at this Garbhadana is done, actually to be done at a particular time, but nowadays it is done at the time of Vivaha itself, when the couple pray for a good progeny and Vamshavriddhi, as they call it. So they pray for the divinity to bless them with good children. Then comes Pumsuvana, when the woman gets pregnant in the 3rd month, sometimes 4th month also. Prayers are offered for the fetus to grow well and a good child to be born at the end of the confinement period. Then comes Simantonayana. Simantonayana is performed sometimes in 6th or 7th month based on the traditions, customs. Because as you know, Hinduism, each region, each other basis, the customs also varies. So here also it can be done in things, and it is done on that basis, Simantonayana. And Simanta literally means parting the hair in the forehead.
Okay.
Here, what the husband does, he parts the forehead of the pregnant wife with the spike of a porcupine and with, of course, uttering mantras. And sometimes in some traditions, the few drops of the crushed people birds are also poured into her nose so that it cleans up the system. That's a belief for them. And the pregnant woman is also given a holy bath at the end of the ceremony with sanctified with the chanting of mantras.
Okay. So I've also seen invitations mentioning Valaykapu and Seemandam. So what about Valaykapu?
Valakapu is more of a social custom, not exactly ritual. It can be considered as a confidence boosting ceremony for the first time pregnant woman, because first time when women are pregnant, they are very nervous and all those things. So this builds up their confidence by assuring them that there are people around her to take care of her, to assist her, and to take care of the baby also after it is born. It is something like people around her during the delivery as well as postnatal delivery. So this is what it is done. And during this ceremony, during this Valakapu, the people, elderly women and all, they adorn the what you call the pregnant woman with a lot of bangles. And as usual in custom, there is always some bangles that are black in color. You know why?
No.
Because they always feel that evil eye should be warded off. Nadarna Lagna, Drishti Gadikirza, all those things. So there is always a black bangle in the set of the colorful bangles you can see here in the slide. And it is also believed that the tinkling noise of the bangles can be heard by the child in the womb. It also gives it some kind of comfort and confidence for it to feel safe that it is doing well. So this is what it is done. Then proceeding further, after the delivery, we have the first karma as Jata karma.
Okay.
Jata karma says it's actually a ritual welcoming the baby to the world. It is also an introduction between mutual introduction between the father and the baby, because the father is seeing the baby for the first time. So that is the thing. Then on the 11th day, we have Namakarna and Punyavachanam. Namakarma is that the baby's name is uttered by the father in the ears of the baby and then announced to the whole world. And Punyavajanam is also done, whereby the holy water sanctified with mantras are sprinkled upon the mother and the baby to cleanse them off, and also the household and etc. to make it as a purifying ceremony. That's what it's called. And then we have what we call Nishkramana. Nishkramana happens at the 3rd or 4th month when the baby is taken out for the first time, and it is shown sun, moon, or taken to a temple. In Singapore, it is very popular custom for us to take the baby to Periyachiamman and place the baby in front of her and pray for the well-being of the child. Do you know that you may wonder why this to be done? Why is this? How can this be the first outing for the baby? Because babies are born in the hospitals and they are brought home. So already the baby is out. But in olden days, if you look at the deliveries were taking place in the house.
Okay.
So the baby and mother were confined to the house for first few months.
Okay.
Were not allowed to go out. And so a prayer is offered for the baby to be blessed with what do you call that? All the good things as they see in the life.
Okay.
So this is the Nishkramana. Then, as you know, as the baby grows, it gets teeth and all these things. Then solid food is introduced.
Okay.
So even for that, there is a prayer for that. That is called Annaprashana. The baby is given the food with prayers to the divinity for the baby to be nourished, not only with physical food, but also to be with a lot of knowledge and what you call beliefs, so that the tradition sets in the baby very beautifully. So this is very common for people to go to Guruvayur, where there is only Krishna, small things, and do the Annaprashana there. So the Annaprashana can be done in the house or can be done in temples like Guruvayur. And where there is no people are unable to Guruvayur, they also go to Guruvayurappan Sanidhi. Like some people in Singapore go to the Guruvayurappan Sanidhi in Topayo temple, Vairavi Kalima temple. There is a Guruvayurappan Sanidhi. They also do the Annaprashana ceremony there.
Okay.
Then the baby becomes baby becomes 1 year old, then we have this Karna Vedana. The baby's ears are pierced. It's slightly what we call a painful experience for the baby, but it is done, and the earrings are adorned on that. It is believed that by doing so, the baby will be able to hear some good things all through its life. Nowadays, people also say that it's a very good acupuncture point that activates the brain cells, especially the memory part. So that we leave it to your things. And then we have Chaula. Chaula is shaving of the head of the baby. The first time shaving is happening because it is believed for more hygiene purpose it is done. And this also is done mostly at temples.
Okay.
Preferably at the Kuladevan temple, or some people based on the family traditions go to important kshetras like Tiruchendur, Palandi, and Tirupati, etc. Or people in Singapore mainly do it during Thaipusam at the time of what you call Tank Road Temple. And then we have Aksharabhyasa. When the baby is about 3 or 4 5 years old, the baby is introduced the alphabets. Even for the first time, the baby is going to start alphabet introduction. So again, a prayer is offered to Goddess Saraswati and Ganesha for the child to become very proficient in education through its life. So the paddy or sand is spread out on a platter like this, and the father holds the hands of the baby and writes the akshara. Usually, the first akshara written is Om or Hari.
Okay.
And then it is done. And generally, Vijayadashmi Day is considered very auspicious for Aksharabhyasa. Then, when the next come will be when the boy is about 7 or 8 years old, then Upanayana is done. He is he's introduced to Gayatri Mantra, and is also adorned with a Janu or Punal, as you can see it here. And then he is sent off to Gurukula for further education over here, which is very strict procedures that to be followed. And he go straight away is sent to the Gurukula for further educations, and he comes out with various skills at the end of the Gurukula period. Then comes Vedaramba. So when we send to Gurukula, it is mainly to learn Vedas, and so people think it's mainly to learn Vedas. It is not necessarily so, because Vedaramba is also in Gurukula. You know that they are taught various sets of skill sets like Dhanurveda, Ayurveda, or Shastras like Dharma Shastra, Vaidya Shastra, so many other Niti Shastras, and several other scriptures, Itihasas, and all so many things. You can see even that and Sandipini, Krishna, even though he's learned, he knows he's a Bhagavan Paramatma itself. He follows this set procedure, goes to Gurukula, and then learns from the his guru along with Kushela. That's a very popular thing. So Gurukula is done. I mean, it's where it happens for not 1 year, 2 years. It happens over 6, 7, 8 years. And do you know that when they are staying in Gurukula, unlike we are able to come back home and all these things, they are not allowed to come back home only on certain period of over 10, I would say about not more than 1, 2 months in a year. So they have to remain there, and it's a very highly strict discipline has to be followed by them, because they believe that such learning is required, and most of them are also learned by memorization. So memorization also happens a lot of things, and that's a beauty of our tradition, is that until very recently, nothing was condensed to writing, especially Vedas. So it was passed on by memory over rote learning memories. So that's what then. And then comes Samvartana. Then the boys become turns into adult. So when the child becomes adult, then they are offered a holy bath called Keshanta or Ritushuddhi. So at the end of that, after several few years have passed, when the guru feels that now the student is fit enough to go out and pursue his worldly things, then he permits the student to leave the Gurukula ashrama. So ritual is conducted at this point of time, called Samavartana, it can be equated to some kind of graduation that is happening today. So thereafter, the student returns back home at the age of maybe 14, 15, 16, like that. And then Vivaha takes place. Vivaha is a very important and very sacrosanct ritual in our tradition. And there are a lot of variations here there. We'll see more about it later on.
Okay.
Then comes the next one will be Antyeshti in this set of 16. So Antyeshti means when the person passes away, his body is offered to Agni as a sort of sacrifice to him. And mourning is observed for 13 days or 16 days based on the customs. Again, our Hinduism, the customs vary. So based on that, mourning is observed. Antyeshti literally means Antya, final, Ishti means sacrifice. So the body is also sacrificed to Agni, and that becomes the final sacrifice. So we believe that everything is done. At the same time, burial is also not uncommon in Hinduism. Certain sects follow burials. You might have known that recently when the famous playback singer, Sri S.V. Balasubramanian passed away, he had a burial ceremony.
Okay.
So that's what it happens. And either way, it is believed that whether a person is buried or cremated, the body is returned back to the Panchabhutas where it originated from. The Panchabhutas are earth, water, fire, air, and space. Our whole body is made up of that only.
Okay.
Though we look different, everything, but if it condenses to finally this is what is there in that one. And so it is written back to this Antyeshti. So, and whatever this way, after the Antyeshti, the mourning, the rituals are done for 13 or 16 days based on the customs. And after that also, the rituals are offered on specific days to the Pitrus in the first year. And it is believed that at the end of that, the departed soul enters the Pitruloka. And even there, does it ritual stop there? No. What happens is that even thereafter we remember the Pitrus, forefathers, by offering them Devasam, Amavasya Tarpana, and special occasions like even eclipses, we remember them. We not only remember them on these occasions, we also invoke their blessings on certain samskaras when we conduct earlier on. Like earlier on, we said some samskaras. Out of them, when we do Vivaha, when we do Vedaramba, when we do Upanayana and all, we seek their blessings to do this. So the rituals are done. These are for the benefit of the uplifting the mind further and further and keeping focused upon the goal of the life.
Okay, sure. So you had mentioned earlier and made a special emphasis on marriage, and you said you would furnish more details later. So,
the Vivaha is a very, as I said, is a very sacrosanct ceremony in our tradition, and special emphasis is placed on this. That's why I thought we'll see that in bit elaborately, and that's why I said good. You reminded me of that. And what is the purpose of the wedding? The purpose of wedding is to pursue dharma, while and also to support the other three ashramas. You mentioned about earlier on brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. So in fact, the people in these ashramas are expected not to make any living, but to depend upon the grihastha to provide the support. So the grihastha ashram is actually held in high esteem in our scriptures. It is not like what is depicted in some of the videos and films today. It is not like that. It is held in very high esteem that grihastha ashrama is very, very important. And like at the risk of repeating myself, I will say this, that the purpose of, very core purpose of Vivaha is to pursue dharma, both husband and wife joining together, supporting each other in that path. And that's why, if you know, Tiruvulluvar in Tirukkural, he says, Aranena Pattade Ilvadkai. You know that special emphasis, he places on the Aranena Pattade, he places a special emphasis saying that only, Tetrehara. He says only dharma is the main purpose of the married life, ilvarke. So, well, I mean, it doesn't forbid from people enjoying from the other pleasures of the married life, but we should not lose track of the main purpose, that is the dharma. So, today, we see the couple to be married, they spend a lot of time in planning the wedding, whom to invite, where they're to be seated, what is the decoration in the hall, what kind of dress to be worn, and who should be seated where, and all those things. A lot of attentions are paid to the details like this. In fact, they even engage a wedding planner to conduct all this. But I feel that they are omitting one great wedding planner in this process, is that the relevant portions in the scriptures. They should also read that and then understand what is stated in that, so that they can pursue the um, wedded life without a problems, and look at, know what is the purpose and what are the problems that can arise, how to understand it and develop a mutual understanding. For example, I would say the scripture, wedding planner scripture would be, one good thing will be Tirukural. Tiruvalluvar gives a special year, Illara, where he, under 20 chapters or adhikarams, he talks in 200 couplets or kural, uh, couplets you can say. He says about the purpose and how the couple should have to conduct themselves in the wedded life. It may seem quite excessive when I send 200 couplets, but strictly speaking, it's only 1,400 words, merely 1,400 words. But they are very powerful, potent, and very expressive, and each one can be considered as a mantra itself.
Okay. So what will
Have you? Do you buy a gadget, right? Several gadgets you buy, right? What does the gadget comes with?
Instruction manual.
Instruction manual. But lot of us we do, we always start operating the gadget without paying much attention to reading the instruction manual, or not paying much attention. When a problem arises, we go and look for the manual. Many of us don't find it at all. And even if we find it, then we realize what has been forbidden, don't do, we have done it. That causes the problem. Then what we do, we end up looking for technical support, and then end up pressing numbers after numbers in get to fix the problem. So likewise, if Tirukural and other relevant scriptures can be read in advance, then the problems can be, they tell us what problems can arise, not physical problems, but mental, I mean, basic, what you call it, the pursuit of dharma, and then gives guidelines how to address them. So it strengthens the bondage, understanding between the couple, making them pursue the core purpose very effectively.
Okay. So, but what will happen if they have not read it before their marriage?
No harm done. People always plan their journey. Some people plan their journey, and some people adjust after they embark upon the journey. So you can always do it. It's ideal if they can read it beforehand and then start at the wedded life. But they can always refer back to it, because it's a lifelong manual. Anytime they can refer and then get answers to their issues, and also start reading it more so that they can refine their path that lies ahead.
Okay, so what are these chapters in the Tirukkural?
Can we go to the slide? Can you read them out?
Okay. இல்வாழ்க்கை, வாழ்க்கை துணை நலம், மக்கட்பேறு, அன்புடைமை, விருந்தோம்பல், இனியவை கூறல், செய் நன்றி அறியதல், நடுவு நிலைமை, அடக்கமுடைமை, ஒழுக்கமுடைமை, பிறனில் விழையாமை, புரையுடைமை, அழுக்காராமை, வெஹ்மை, புறங்கூறாமை, பயனல சொல்லாமை, தீவினையச்சம், உப்புரவறிதல், ஈகை, புகழ்.
Very good, Anish. Very done. Well done. I thought I'll just jolt you, but you read it very beautifully. And we also have in Ramayana also a very famous shloka. When Janaka gives away Sita to Rama, At the time of wedding, we see this very popular shloka where it says, Iyam Sita, Mama Suta, Saha Dharma Charani Tava, Praticha Chainam Badrante, Paninam Grinishwar Panina. What does it say is that Janaka says that this is Sita, my daughter, and she will be your consort, pursuing or helping you out in discharge of all the dharmas and other obligations that you have to perform. Note that he is not placing emphasis on accumulation of kingdoms, wealth, other prosperity. He also says that she will help you out in the pursuit of dharma. So this has been our purpose of the wedded life that has been laid down right from old Itigasas age to till today. Then there are certain common factors among the marriage of various regions because, as I said, that Hinduism is full of variations, and also based on the regions and the customs, the performing the rituals also vary. So there are certain common factors yet in this performance of the wedding. That I would say that there is one Varayatra where the bridegroom is arrives at the place of the marriage. Then Kanyadan, Panigrahana, just now we saw in Sita Kalyanam also, where Janaka says, give, hold her hand, Panigrahana. And then we have Saptapadi also.
Okay. But I've only really heard about Tali Katrude and Mangalyam.
Oh, actually, Mangalya Dharanam or tying Jali is a very, very important aspect of marriage in traditions like Tamils or other South Indians, but not so much in the North Indian till recently. Probably it is because it is not a ritual or what do you call deed that has been prevalent in the Vedic culture days. However, it is gaining acceptance slowly all over India, all over the world in the Hindu traditions, and Mangal Sutra, tying Mangal Sutra is also becoming common along with that. And now we can have a look at various
Weddings,
weddings,
region,
yeah,
right?
weddings. We have talked about variations in weddings.
Okay.
Now we see this is a Punjabi wedding. Then we have a Gujarati wedding. Then we have Rajasthani Marwari wedding. Then we have Bengali wedding, where you have some names like Borbaron, Poto Bastra, Sampradhan, Mala Badal, all those things. Then you have Kerala wedding also, where it is they have Nichadatam, then going around the thing, and there's a Podamari, which is very important. Podamari is very important ritual for them, where the bride groom presents sari to the bride. In fact, it is considered as one of the culmination of their events, their marriage events.
Okay.
And then you have Tamil wedding. It's performed by various communities in Tamil weddings in different formats. Then you can see that there is always a Varayatra that is performed here. Then there is tying Tali is there. Then there is also Malay Matradal. Then there is a Palihai where that is done. Then there is also a Meti when the in Tamil custom the married woman starts wearing a Meti after she is married. So that, in fact, this good interesting observation. I can go back to Ramayana when Lakshmana is asked to identify the jewels of Sita by the Vanaras. He can only identify Meti because he says, I never looked at the Sita right up to the things. I have been looking at the feet only. So Anna, I cannot recognize other jewels that are being displayed at the things. So that's a Meti we have to think about it. And we can.
So
then there are 7 steps, 7 Saptapati that is also happening. And there are 7 vows that are given exchanged by the both bride and the groom. Popularly, what you call the Saptapati is also applicable to the bride also says 7 mantras, but we look at what the bridegroom says because of the time factor. The Saptapati will be to say that they take 7 vows to have mutual understanding, to have children birth, to prosper, to help the prosperity of each other, to have good affection between both of them, as well as respect for the other families from the both sides, and then good children, and then finally end up as a Sakya Baba, which means as a friendship. Let's look at it. What does it say is Isha, the previous like this. It says the first step, Isha Ekapati Baba. You have taken one step, so we have become friends, and we be the nourisher of the food.
Okay.
Again, as I said, literally, Anna means, it doesn't mean only nourishing the body, it is also nourishing the other spiritual aspects also. So, like being a Saha Dharmacharini, she helps the husband to perform the Dharma, observe the Dharma rightfully. Then, Urje Dushadi Baba, Dvipadi Baba, which says that you have walked 2 steps with me, hence you may become a wife who gives me strength. Then the third one, he says, Rayesh Poshaya Tripadi Baba. Oh bride, you have walked 3 steps with me, may you become one who will help me acquire prosperity. Then 4th step, Vayo Vaya Chatushpati Baba. He says, you have walked 4 steps with me, so you will increase my happiness and my, Santushti and all. Then the 5th step is Prajapya Panchapati Baba. It says that you walk 5 steps with me, and now you will give good birth to a children whom will raise up as good, noble citizens of the world. Not only a place, country, anything, noble citizens of the world, so that they also pursue Dharma and keep our traditions ongoing and alive. Then the 6th step is Ritubhya Shatpati Baba. It says like seasons, they give a lot of pleasures to everybody. Changing seasons bring, pleasures, like each season has got its flavor. So likewise, you also give me a lot of happiness, enjoyment. Then 7th step, he says, Saka Saptapati Baba. You have walked 7 steps with me. And he says, now we have become friends. Do you know that he's not saying that you have become a couple, you have become friends? Because only in friendship, you don't have any quarrels or anything. Even in occurs, it disappears after a while. It never carried forward. I don't have to tell you, you'll have a lot of friends and you will have experienced that, how friendship is very important and how things is. So it is more easygoing, it is more understanding, and any difference that arises evaporate within a short time. Okay. It will never carry forward. That's why it says we become friends hereafter.
Okay. So, but what are the dharmas that need to be observed by a grihastha?
Okay. Grihasthas are like I said, that grihastha has to support the other ashramas. So he also has to do a lot of other rituals. But we can say that the main primary duties can be said as Panchamahayajnas. That will be will be Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Manushya Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, Manushya Yajna, and Brahma Yajna. So I'll go shortly this thing. The Brahma Yajna, Deva Yajna will means offering Havan those days, but today it is more of offering, doing daily worships, chanting japa, mantra, etc. Then we come to Pitru Yajna is offering oblations to Pitrus on certain days like Amavasya and everything. Then Manushya Yajna is to help others, and especially downtrodden people. It is also a custom to help Atithi, who comes unannounced, and feed them. It is very important. If you know, in those days, there was people used to travel on foot, and there was no boarding lodging arrangements. So Grihastha has to come out before taking lunch to look for any Atithi and then invite him home and even provide shelter without any hesitations. And then we have Bhuta Yajna, where we help out other insects and everything, and even watering a plant can become as a Bhuta Yajna. Then we have Brahma Yajna, where we pursue the self-knowledge every day by reading scriptures, and we also pass on to the others. Learn and teach, Kattalam Karpitalam. So this is what is the Panchamaha Yajnas. There are a lot of other yajnas and rituals prescribed for the grihasthas, but today the context may not be able to possibly do that. like even a Kshatriya king has to done Ashwamedha Yaga, Rajasuya Yaga. That's not possible. So we'll just say these are the main Grihastha Dharma today.
Okay, but we just celebrated Deepavali, but so are these kind of festivals also considered as rituals, or are they?
Hinduism have several practices and rituals passed on to them over the generations, and some of them can be lighting a lamp to performing rituals like various rituals we listed, then to perform, celebrating the Deepavali and other festivities. The purpose of this festival is to bring community bondage together and develop mutual understanding. And the Hindus believe that there can be changes in the performance and observation, but the core purpose cannot be lost. That makes this what you call the Hindu tradition vibrant, changing to the needs of the society of the present day, but keeping the core purposes alive. So now I think we have come more or less to the end of the thing. There are a lot of, it's a vast knowledge that we are looking at, but we just took a small dip, a handful of water, and sipped out of this in today's event.
Okay.
And Anirudh, I hope you able to gain something. Can you sum up what you learned today?
Okay, sure. I think you provided some really good insights into our rituals. So I'll just list a few points. So Hindu is anyone who believes in God, Veda, rebirth, karma pala, punya, papa, and who is striving to get out of the birth and rebirth cycle. Right? So there are many rituals, and their main goal is to help us to attune our mind and body, and at the same time, so that we can achieve our pursuit of ultimate knowledge. So there are the 16 major samskaras prescribed in our scriptures to seek divine blessings at the important occasions of our lives. The foremost objective of grihasthas is to observe dharma by way of Panchamahayagnas. So it is also an important ashrama since only they alone can support the other three ashramas. So, and there was also the takeaway for everyone, which is LPWC, which is to learn, practice, withdraw, and contemplate as well.
Oh, you've done a beautiful job, Anirudh. Congratulations. On behalf of Singapore Dakshina Bharatha Brahmana Sabha, we both would like to thank Hindu Center for this opportunity. It is a very great idea for Hindu Center to organize this Singapore Festival of Hinduism, bringing out various aspects of Hinduism throughout this 10-day period that are quite informative and will benefit all, especially the youth of today. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srinivasan and Anirudh. Now we will take questions. Those of you who have questions can key it in on your Facebook or YouTube for today's event, and we will try our best to answer your questions. We have one question here already. So it seems that there are a lot of rituals, and for someone who is not familiar with all of them, where can they start small?
Okay, rituals are, like I said, that there are certain rituals that are prescribed, but we can start with a simple worship, with a daily doing some offering, some prayers, and then start reading scriptures, starting from Bhagavad Gita and other Tirukural, whatever scriptures they are comfortable with, and then proceed further on that. So the rituals can be either the religious one that are be performed on certain occasions, for which we can engage the assistance of learned people like Prohits or Kurukals or others to help us to conduct that rituals. But the other ones, on an individual basis, they can start doing some deva pujas and chanting japas, mantras, etc. And also proceed further in the spiritual path by reading scriptures like Bhagavad Gita with the help of a guru. I would say that whenever you do any spiritual studies, it will be very paramount to have a guru to guide you, because it's a path that is to be understood very carefully, and a person who is already knowledgeable can guide you on that. So for that, I would advocate that you seek the help of a guru and then proceed further on the spiritual path.
Thank you. Following up on that, so in Singapore, I've heard this question many times. There's a difficulty in finding gurus who can help. Maybe in India it's a lot easier. So how would someone in Singapore tackle that?
I think Hindu Centered Films has a lot of gurus, I would say that. So people can check with them also. And there are Ramakrishna mission here. There are gurus, and guru need not be. Let's not think a guru has to be a person who is ordained saint or one with the robes, the kavi robes, or some sannyasa or something like that. A guru can be anybody who is a learned person by himself, who is quite knowledgeable on that, and he can be a grahastha also. There are a lot of classes that are happening now here, and I would say that even though in India, the plus point of the COVID situation is that we have a lot of live sessions that are going on through Zoom and other platforms. So you can get in, people can get in touch with gurus and then stick to one guru. That is very important. So you can try to learn from people, but sticking to one guru is very important, and pursuing with him that once you are initially satisfied with him, then you can go through that. But you can always seek other gurus later on. But if you keep changing, like I can quote the example or the parable of Sri Ramakrishna. There was a person who was trying to dig a well. He was digging one well. I mean, he was digging a feet, and then he didn't find the water. Then he went to another place. Everywhere he used to dig 1 or 2 feet, but never found the water. So what Ramakrishna says, that had he dug in one place, that 100 feet, he would have definitely found water. So same way, if you stick to one guru initially and learn from him, and then you can always, Hinduism is not a religion that labels you or stamps you that you are my student, cannot go anywhere. It actually pursues. In fact, I even remember once Swami Omkarananda, when he came to Singapore long ago, he said one day, let me go to another lecture of another Swamiji. I said that you want to? He says, yes, I want to hear him also, because who knows, he may have something to share which I have not come across earlier. So if you're, a highly knowledgeable person like Swami Omkarananda can do that, we can also do that. But basically, he went through a Gurukula, a knowledgeable seeking course under Paramartha Nandaji, and then he started branching out, seeking knowledge from various people. The same way, I would say that learn from a guru on very systematically with a deep involvement, and then once you come to a certain stage, then you seek other views and explore other gurus and further enhance your knowledge.
Right. Thank you. Okay, we have quite a number of questions coming in now. One person has asked, what's the purpose of the Panchamahayagna?
Panchamahayagna is to show gratitude to the people around us and people above us. Like you do Deva Yajna is to say that even Krishna in Gita says that you have to offer havans to Devas. When they are pleased, they give you rains and all those things. So we show our gratitude to Devas by doing Deva Yajna. And like I said, those days, like Krishna says havans, but today it may not be possible. That's why we said that today worshipping Devas by way of pujas, chanting mantras, japas, etc. can be considered as Deva Yajna. Likewise, we show respects to our forefathers, Pitrus, by doing certain rituals on prescribed days. Likewise, goes on, like Manushya Yajna, we show gratitude to the people around us, and we show the value of our birth by helping the others by doing this. Of course, needless to say, we help out the animals and plants outside around us by offering the Bhuta Yajna. And of course, Brahma Yajna is to pursue one knowledge, self-knowledge, and elevating him, because the purpose of this life is to attain self-realization or move towards that. So that's the purpose of the Panchamahayagnas.
Right. So a follow on to that, for the lay person, not everybody has the goal of moksha or self-realization. People are caught up with their day-to-day living, and they may not even be thinking about that. And for such a person, then they may not be, their goal is different, right? So how would they go about, are the rituals still meaningful for them, or how do they go about it?
Everybody starts with the rituals, because Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga. So self-realization is a goal, but we do rituals first, because only by doing rituals we refine our thought process, mind, etc. So karma yoga is very important, ritual is important. So everybody does, and Hinduism doesn't believe that we have only one birth and everything has to be accomplished within this
Right.
birth. We believe that there is birth after birth, and ultimately we move towards that. So over the period, that's why even today you will find somebody is more attuned or more comfortable with doing rituals like doing pujas or going to temples, etc. And somebody is doing some spiritual studies, because they come with different prarabdha karmas carried over the periods and births, carried over the births, and they continue the journey. So we are in, we can consider ourselves in the human cycle to be in the different steps of a ladder. So don't look at the people at the above you or under you. Be comfortable where you are and start doing the rituals and doing it. So the rituals, they can do whatever the simple rituals, and they can start pursuing it, and they can progress slowly towards the spiritual path. The mind will be, once it is ready, it will come. It is like a child in the kindergarten. It uses a lot of chemones and all those things to the counting. It doesn't able to say what is 10 plus 10 or 8 plus 8 is 16. It uses a lot of what you call age or something like that. Then it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Like. So rituals are like that. So once the mind is cultivated and attuned, then this can be dropped off, and then you go to the further spiritual path. But like they say that still they are kept even though somebody was attained the self-knowledge and self-realization, he also performs the rituals or pujas, etc. I would add that here, even though that's not the part of the question, that why it is done is because they also want to show to the people that are following the new generations that these are the rituals that you have to do, this is the path you have to do to come where I have gone. Because if he just lives like that, then people do not know how he came to this path. So he has respect, and he does the rituals still even after self-realization, unless he becomes a sannyasi, giving up all these rituals.
Right, right. So I think we can take one more question. We have a question, okay, interesting one. A lot of the examples you gave were rituals and things for the male. So the question is, are there rituals that women can perform as well?
See, it is certain, I mean, ladies can perform because these are where they are prescribed, they can be doing right. Like what we believe is she is a Sakha Dharmacharini, because whatever the husband does, she gets a part of it. So in the ancient tradition, it is believed that the husband looks after the, what you call the going out and doing the rituals, and the wife or the lady helps him out in conducting the rituals, because the ritual means it has got a lot of preparation as well as conducting it, do it by self. So it is like a sharing of the responsibility, like in a team in the office. Though one person could be making a presentation, it doesn't mean that the person has done it by himself altogether. It is like a team has worked behind him, and he produces the presentation in front of his customers or the target audience. So it doesn't mean that we berate the work of the team behind that person. So that is the one concept you can say. But in today, this is also equal to opportunity days. So there is no harm done if certain rituals where it is applicable, like pujas and what do you call pitru yajnas or the atithi pujas, all those can be done by ladies, no questions asked.
Okay. All right. So before we end off, just one final one. I know I said there was the last question, but there's just one more. You talked about the 4 stages of life, and for the 3rd stage, the Vanaprastha, you said in today's context, because you can't go to the forest and then start contemplating, that you reduce your responsibilities so that you can stay at home and do the same thing at home. But in a place like Singapore, that is also very hard to do. No matter what, first of all, our retirement age keeps getting extended. And also there are responsibilities like grandparents' responsibilities and all that are expected of the older people. So how are they going to reconcile this in Singapore?
I don't really agree with the questioner, because as a grandfather, I also know what the grandparents have to do. So I do understand, but what we do is that we have to draw a line somewhere, because when we get the grandchildren and all, we understand the what you call the parents are inconvenienced and they have to be helped out and all, but we have to draw a line and we have to take out our things. Like if you want to do a thing of your passionate thing, you take your time out and then do that. So same way we have to allocate time. I mean, I'm not saying that you do all through the day the spiritual knowledge, I mean the pursuit of spiritual knowledge, but start allocating half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours like that, and start reducing your involvement in the domestic affairs. And also you have to send a subtle messages to your what you call the other people around you, saying that look, I'm going to do that, so don't count upon me too much. I'll be there whenever it's needed. So after a certain stage, because Hinduism believes that one has to attain liberation by himself. He cannot be just somebody cannot. I mean, we may have heard of stories and all things. Just somebody blesses you get liberated, but they are very rare occurrences. But the laid out path is to do one himself something. So that's why, even though this has to be done all along the life, throughout the life, even this Brahma Yajna is given for the Grihastha, you start reading scriptures and all. Then when it comes to Vanaprastha stage, you start slowly withdrawing. And today people think that, okay, I'll do it later on, but with all kind of problems, health problems and everything, the active life for the elderly people is very, very limited. So it's the opportunity given, how you utilize is individual's choice. There is no prescribed formula for that, but I would say that start devoting time and increase it little bit, and over a period, you'll be able to devote some quality time. I'm not saying that give up everything and stay in a room and don't just come out and eat like old Vanaprastha did, but try to give yourself a lot of time for the spiritual pursuit, because you have to uplift yourself, nobody else.
Okay. With that, we end our question and answer session. Now, I'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Srinivasan and Anirudh, for sharing insights on the Hindu rituals with everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste. And now I'm going to spend a little bit of time, just a short time, to talk a little bit about the Hindu Center, what we do. And as you know, the Festival of Hinduism is organized by the Hindu Center. And the Hindu Center is a charity formed in 1978 to promote greater awareness of Hinduism, as well as to raise the knowledge of our Vedic scriptures and practices. 3 pillars of Jnana, Bhakti, and Seva. In 2019, the Hindu Center delivered over 25,000 beneficiary hours. And this includes time spent in counseling in the prisons, old age homes, and the classes we conduct for the Hindus. We need your support. Your support will allow us to deliver even more in the coming years. You can help us by volunteering your time and expertise through our various projects. You can go to our website to find out what they are and sign up. And you can also help us by your generous donations. You can donate through the QR code, which is flashed on the screen right now, or going to our website, or you can make one-time donations also. Please support us generously. And if you want to be staying in the loop to get more information about the Hindu Center activities, you can sign up for our WhatsApp broadcasts. The number is on the screen. Just send a message, WhatsApp join, to that number, and you will receive all the latest updates of the activities that the Hindu Center is organizing. Please bear in mind, this is a broadcast WhatsApp, so your number and personal details will not be shared. Now we end the session, and very quickly we review what are the programs coming up next. Tomorrow we have a talk at 4:30 on vegetarianism, and at 7 p.m. we have a talk on Hindu chants and worship. We have a full 10-day program. So please try your best to attend those talks that you're interested in so that you can benefit from them. We now go on to our closing prayer.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।